Rank 1 player on rating duels. We are going to spectate the #1 player in Master Duel right now. Are you ready? This is not a Duels Cup. It is forever changing, but he's been rank 1 for a while. Let's hop in. Let's check out T2 Rabbit and see what they're playing. I don't know if his name's actually Rabbit. We just turned it into Rabbit. You're now Rabbit. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Rank 1 is on pure Mitsa-freaking-Rugi, and we actually have their deck list on the website. Let's see. So if we go to top decks, we're going to click on rating duels, and from here, I think their name is RBT. RBT, it's under Mitsa-Rugi. Let's type in Mitsa-Rugi, Birdie, not Bertie, Bertie, Rebertie, rank 1, 1752, and it's now higher as we have just seen. First place with pure Mitsa-Rugi. Mostly I prefer to play rating with new decks, but Vanquish Soul K9 and K9 variants are just much weaker than I expected, or much weak. I feel like pure Mitsa-Rugi and its variants are the best now. Ooh. Now, a lot of people have been saying, DK, I'm struggling against Vanquish Soul K9, and I have continually been saying that Murakumo wiping out the monsters is a great disruptor, a great way to break their fields. Even though the Vanquish Soul cards themselves will be protected from disruption, if you're non-target wiping out, let's say, a Ripper, and they have the force release, how can they force release? The furry is not going to be able to release on you because there's nothing to exceed into. It's getting destroyed. If they chain it, the newly summoned furry will also get destroyed. So this is in a really good spot. Any deck playing Murakumo, and that's why it's rank 1 right now. Let's check out what the rank 1 player looks like. So we are going second. Saji, Ash, negate the Saji. You do not want to wait for Mitsa-Rugi Ritual because half of Mitsa-Rugi Ritual is not negatable with Ash. Completely ending their turn. Let's freaking go. Is he from America? He's in T2. There's a lot of people that in our events that are in the T2. What's the T2? The T2 Guild. Aramasa adding the Murakumo. Mirror, tributing off the Habakiri for the Murakumo, as we're going to be triggering the Habakiri in Grave, Chainlink blocking in Ash, or a Ghost Spell, as the Murakumo non-target wipes away the field. So, you know, it's small things like that. Chainlink blocking optimally is going to be good to do. So we chainlink blocked to then he did have an Ash. So we properly stopped it. Now, Ash negating prayers, is that a big deal? No, Murakumo is still going to search and reborn back from the graveyard. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to have a chainlink block for the Murakumo, so if they have a follow-up Bell, we do. With the Mirror, Mirror will block a Bell from negating this, actually. Not sure if he's on Bell. A lot of people are playing Bell, though. Search for Asaji and reborn back Murakumo. So I know a lot of you are thinking, like, why not play this with Yummy? Why not play this with another variant? Why is Pure the best way, or at least his preferred way? Because they have more room for non-engine and even more in-engine. What more in-engine looks like is playing up to 3 Mitsa-Rugi Ritual. What more in-engine looks like being able to have room for a Magatama. Even more copies of Murakumo. So in a way, it can make the deck a lot more resilient to some disruptors where if they randomly banish your Murakumo, then you're forced to interact with your Kusanagi to add it back, where otherwise in this build, I think he plays more than one. He does, you can see in the deck list here, that's not going to be as much of an issue. And what I've been seeing is a lot of Vanquish Soul K9 players are on DD Crow. DD Crow stocks are up. DD Crow is great against Mitsa-Rugi. All right, let's see. Mitsa-Rugi Ritual, Ash, negate. We're going into the top 16 right after this. We're just watching a rank 1 player here. As we now, Lamia, now, DK, I thought you said this is not negatable with Ash. If you're summoning from the hand using materials from the deck, that's not ashable. If you're summoning from the deck, only that part is ashable. Murakumo forcing them to discard a card, and I guess this deck is so good we have a freaking mirror match. At the top of rating duels, Mitsa-Rugi versus Mitsa-Rugi. Grabbing the Habakiri, Purification, negate, and destroy the Haba-freaking-Kiri. I think we done goofed, the opponent that is. We played into Ritual being ashable instead of Lamia searching for the Habakiri And then, but the problem is if we then Habakiri gets destroyed, we then still can't use the ritual. So, you know, it was just quite unfortunate that we played into the ashable part of ritual and then Habakiri got negated and destroyed. Let's watch another one. The tippity top of rating duels at rank 1. What does it look like? Well, we're now playing against Lunalight. Lunalight grabbing a black sheep. What is our out to a Liger? Well, we have a Wuso to deal with one Liger, but what about a second Liger? A second Liger, we'd be in trouble. We have Masquerade. Mind you, we've activated many effects that are ashable. So already a rank 1 player is well disciplined with Ash's Feet, saving it for the effect that is trying to summon from the deck. And I've said this multiple times. If you are unfamiliar with the deck, generally the safest effect to negate will be something that's trying to summon from the deck. And in general, if you're a good deck, you probably have an effect that's summoning from the deck. And ideally, it's not getting chain link blocked or them having a negate to stop the effect as they then activate the effect. So they searched, they dumped from the deck, and finally on the effect to summon from the deck, we are now negating with the Ash. Negate. Now, there are exceptions to the rule of negating something that's adding from the deck. Can sometimes be a good negate. We have the Gold Leo, add back the Black Sheep. We have not activated Max C yet. We're waiting. And now we are maxing it up. Not activating Max C early to allow them to adjust their turn on how they would prefer to play around Max C. Let's try to catch them off guard into a special summon. We still have Dominus Impulse. Now, activated effect, card or effect that wants to perform a special summon, we're going to want to use Impulse to stop the direct summon of the Liger Dancer, if we can help it. Let's see. Polymerization added back. Perfume Dancer is going to be searching for the Light Perfume. Light Perfume, reborn a monster. Impulse, negate the chick. That's quite interesting. Perfume's activatable more than once per turn. It's also activatable in Grave to search your deck by discarding. If they have another way to reborn the chick out, then this is going to get hard punished. So we're really coping that that was their only way to summon their chick onto the field. Not sure if I agree with that, because they are now guaranteed going to search for whatever card they want, which this is not random. This was guaranteed to happen to have another way to reborn the chick. So I think this is a mishap. Yeah, I don't like that negate, because, you know, as I said, that was guaranteed going to have another way to summon chick. It wasn't maybe. We'd have the Masquerade send from the deck a bird. Bird's going to trigger. Target the Gold Leo, reborn back. Boy, are we drawing like crazy. Tiger, further, reborn the Emerald Bird. Allenbert with 4. Oh my gosh. Lunalight in rating, top rating duels is making a 4 material to search for what? Usually a floodgate, right? Allenbert is normally what you would summon instead would be a Baguska, but Baguska is banned. So instead, our plan B is Allenbert with 4 materials searching for a dimensional barrier. Declare a dimensional barrier ritual and we auto win, right? And what you also should note against many decks is sometimes they could deal with one Liger Dancer, but it's the second Liger Dancer which definitively wins the duel, which even under a Thulos or a Max C, you have to brute force out. So instead of a second Liger, we have dimensional barrier with 1 Liger. Is that going to be good enough against a 12-card hand? Let's go. Call to the Grave, fingering the Silverhound preemptively before it negates a spell and trap card of anything else. Dodge the finger by negating the finger. Okay, sure. Now we have Mitsurugi Prayers, tributing off the Habakiri, grabbing the Aramasa, alt in the draw phase, special summoning Aramasa. We have the Habakiri triggering to search our deck, Aramasa, chainlink block in the Habakiri. Aramasa could only search for a monster, Habakiri could search for a monster, spell, or trap. We're going to be grabbing the Magatama, which will be able to destroy 1 face-up card on the field. Now that face-up card destruction is only during the main phase, and we're now going to use the Liger to non-target destroy the Aramasa, as we also are turning on the dimensional barrier, declaring rituals. Ritual monsters on field are negated, and they cannot be special summoned. Oh boy, what now? Preparation of rites. We have the Masquerina in response, linking off into a Little Knight. Little Knight in response to the pre-prep. Sure. Look at all the mirrors. Oh my gosh. Multi-ritual, multi-mirror. Little Knight on someone's going to banish away the impulse. As we normal a Kusanagi, like, this is the top of rating duels. Like, the best of the best on the ladder. Why did he summon a Little Knight so early? What the heck? And he got freaking Wusooed. Liger Dancer has been dealt with. We're going to be triggering the fact to grab a Purification, set 5 and pass. Now, normally, you don't have a way to ritual summon during the opponent's turn, but the Magatama gives you that way. Ritual summon a Mitsurugi ritual from your hand during the main phase quick effect. All right. Dugar skipping the draw phase. Magatama is going with the destruction effect. Destroy the Lunalight Tiger. The Purification is going to be no good. The prayers can't reborn anything because nothing was properly summoned. No ritual, that is. But because my mind is going towards Purification needs a ritual to be activatable, right? But that's not true. It's just that the rituals help meet the requirement, which the requirement is a level 5 or higher reptile that you tribute to negate any effect to then destroy. So the Wusoo, even though we got Dimensional Barriered, is giving us that play. We had Magatama pop, we have Purification, negate, and destroy. Let's freaking go. Masquerade is going to dump from the deck the Silver Hound. Silver Hound is going to summon from the deck the Gold Leo. We're going to Ash negate the Gold Leo. So previously we negated the Silver Hound summoning a monster from the deck. Now we saved the Ash for the Gold Leo, adding a card to then discard. Tenki is grabbing a Black Sheep. When do we use our negate? Do we use it on the Polymerization Mate? Grabbing a Tiger. We have the Gold Leo, adding back the Black Sheep. Tiger's going to activate to reborn back onto the field the Silver Hound. Bro's got no plays. What? So it looks like negating the Gold Leo was the right play here. Completely messed him up. Wow. What do I think he was trying to do? I think he was trying to trigger a Martin. With the Martin being sent to the graveyard, this would have been activatable. If sent to the grave, add a Lunalight spell and trap card from your deck to your hand. And does he not have a rank 4 Xyz that could send it by card effect once we get it out onto the field? Otherwise, you add it from the deck to then discard it with the Gold Leo to then trigger the effect. Damn. Now we have one final duel of the rank 1 player of Master Duel. All 3 of his duel highlights are going second. Okay. Solfachord Happiness is going to add 2 Solfachords, and then you could special summon a Solfachord. Let's negate that entire effect. No thank you. Marshmallow Yummy. In response, we got Maxi. Herald of Orange freaking Light. A turn 0 card. A lot of people are loving turn 0. That's a big benefit of playing the Solfachord Yummy. Negate. And from here, it should be full combo. Now, what's good against Vanquish Soul K9? What's good against Yummy? One answer is good against both, and that is Mitsurugi. A Murakumo to wipe out their field is incredible against both decks. Oh, but what if they have a negate? You chain link block the negate, which you are normally always going to do. If they have the Umbral Horror to negate on field, you just chain link block it, and then it's not going to be able to negate your Murakumo wipe in. And also if they have the Herald of Arc Light, just make sure, again, you're chain link blocking the Herald of Arc Light. They're not going to be able to save their negate for the Murakumo. Let's speed this on up. Sprite Elf. Maxi got negated. Maxi's not ruining this game. That's it. There's no Maxi. And boy, we got a field. We have Masquerina double banish. We have the full Yummy line, which is going to be able to flip 2 monsters on the field face down. We're going to be able to pop a monster on the field. We could pop any card with the other field spell. If we have Yummy Surprise, we could return 2 cards in the field back. So possibly up to 6 forms of disruption that we have to break. Can Mitsurugi, pure Mitsurugi, break this field? Starting off with the Habakiri, we had the choice to instead normal summon the Lamia. In response, we have the Lalipo chaining to an activate effect. We're going to use the Sprite Elf to further reborn the Cupsy. We have Masquerina. We're just like popping off like crazy. We're not waiting. We're going to chain prayers to all that because we don't want to activate prayers while the Synchro is on field to then chain to our prayers to reborn more monsters. grab the Aramasa we could special summon, which it will just, in response to the Aramasa, activate instead. Now we have Fancy Ball. We really have to chain link block the Fancy Ball. Fancy Ball, in response to a direct chain on field or engrave, will negate and banish a monster. So we're protecting Habakiri, we're protecting Saji, and the Aramasa is what the Fancy Ball now has to negate and banish if it wants to negate and banish, or we could save the effect for something else. We are not going to negate and banish. We're going to chain the Cupsy Synchro, further reborn more bodies from engrave. Now, hidden information has been unveiled here. The hidden information is, we'll know on the resolution here because there's a case where we pass on Snatchy from triggering so that we could chain the Cupsy to them reborning, and now would be the option to activate the Snatchy to play a new field spell if we play it. Do we play a new field spell? The other field spell, that is, the Accro, which will pop a card in the field. Is this the trigger effect, or is this the Synchro? So exactly what I said. So that's another thing to learn here from the top players here at the top of the rating ladder. He passed on a trigger to directly chain, and now he is going through with the trigger to play the new field spell as he's also popping a monster. What I think is unknown is the Yummy Surprise, right? Did he search for Yummy Surprise? I think we skipped through his turn 1. I didn't really check. We're now activating a Synchro into Lollipo. Lollipo is going to activate to reborn bodies from the graveyard. Looks like we're setting up for a Herald of Arc Light. That's exactly what we're doing. Herald of Arc Light is ready. We still have the ability to flip a monster face down. We could pop a card on the field. We can negate a card on the field. We could also negate anything with the Herald of Arc Light. We could also use the Fancy Ball. Well, I mean, Fancy Ball is going to be one of those disruptions. So 4. Directly to the Lamia. Negate and banish. Let's go. No search for you. Wusu. Herald of Arc Light being tributed by the Wusu. Wusu does not activate. We're going to tribute off the Murakumo, which is now banished, but it still activates to search our deck. Now, because we are pure Mitsurugi, we play more than one Murakumo. Thus, we're not forced to have to use Kusanagi to add it back. We can instead have it recycle back a Mitsurugi ritual. It's going to add a Futsu. So this is another great benefit of pure Mitsurugi. We have a larger toolbox of Mitsurugi plays where otherwise the Wusu is not played in the other variants. Mitsurugi Ritual is summoning from the deck. In response, Snatchy is going to try to flip monsters face down and or possibly trigger the Accro. Crow will pop a card in the field. So we have 2 effects here. Now we have to be careful. When there's a Murakumo on field and we have nothing in hand, they now could choose to negate any of our effects. So only the highest chain link effect will be negatable. So we could choose to protect our effects by putting the Accro possibly on the higher chain link, whatever we want to protect here. It looks like we may be protecting with the Accro. There we go. So now the flip face down effect is not negatable. The field spell effect is. Eat it up. And what is Yummy known for? They're slimy, they're squirrely, they're jumping off the field, they're synchroing, they're reborning from the grave to dodge targeting effects. So this is why Murakumo is so good. A non-target board wipe is going to ensure that you cannot just jump off the field to dodge my wipe. So you're just flipping me down. And then we get wiped out. Wipe it. Very good. And if we had Yummy Surprise, it's now not going to be able to pop off by returning multiple cards in the field back. Instead, we're going to reborn from engrave the cookie to have a follow-up play. So it's actually not looking bad for the Yummy player. Fancy Ball is back. We are able to reborn back our cookie in response to them activating anything. We have the Magatama ready. Now, Magatama is a targeting destruction. So if we were to target with the Magatama, we would be able to chain in response to them trying to hit us with the Magatama. Now, Magatama is going to wipe away the minion field spell before it activates to reborn a monster from engrave, triggering the Murakumo to reborn back in the field, but it's also activating the search. So the effect to wipe away their entire field is now fully negated by the purge. What? He showed a loss. What the? No way. Okay. Rank 1 player is willing to save a duel loss. I've never seen that before. Damn, that is crazy. And there you go. That is rank 1 player of the current ladder here, willing to show a loss And this is the deck list. This is right now the #1 deck in rating duels. Does this mean it's the #1 deck overall? It's the best deck? No, being #1, a big part of that is the player itself. The deck could help you get into, let's say, top 100, but being top 1 or top 10, that's going to usually be the player's strength themselves more so than the deck. So good job to Rebirdie. If you want to play the best performing Mitsurugi deck on the ladder, this is it. Let's go.